I'm not paying you to work on other people's projects. I want you working on mine. I'm sorry, Alpha, but there's nothing I can do about it. I can smell the fear coming off him in waves and it's making me sick. Such a weakling. Get out of my sight. The next time I hear from you, it better be good news. I growl at him before turning around and walking away. I can't believe that there's been a delay. I need that stuff now. Patrick is not going to be happy when he hears that I don't have the materials. He's counting on me to send him supplies so he can set another bomb off in the Blood Falls pack next week. Hopefully this bomb attack will be more successful than the last one. I know that Ryder is going to keep Elizabeth at his side for everything from now on. Hopefully, Patrick will find a time when they are separated and then he can make his move. Patrick is very smart and pretty powerful. With him on my team, I know that I will be able to take down Ryder and his pack. He's been telling me of the plans and preparations Ryder and Elizabeth are making for this war. I can't believe they think that they can outsmart me. I know that Jake is in that pack too, and I know that he's found his mate. I will make sure to kill her right in front of him to show him that no one crosses me and gets away with it. Ryder and Elizabeth think that Jake is their way of knowing what's going on in my pack, but they are dead wrong. I've told Jake's parents about him being in the Blood Falls pack so he can stay near Elizabeth, and now they want nothing to do with him. They've hated Elizabeth ever since she was a little girl, and the fact that Jake chose her over them has made them just a little mad. They've been telling him false information to keep the Blood Falls pack completely unaware of my actual plans. It also helps that I have Patrick within that pack too. I'm not exactly sure how he was able to get in, but he has, and he now serves as my eyes and ears. Well, technically we're partners and we're taking down Ryder and his pack together. I'm not sure why Patrick was so willing to help me, but I'm not going to question it. I'm going to need all the help I can get, and Patrick was the only one willing to help me. I should probably call him and let him know that things have been delayed. He's not going to be happy, but that's not my problem. I pick up the phone in my study and start dialing his phone number. Hello? His gruff voice answers. Hey Pat. I say with a slight smirk. I hear his growl and my smirk widens. He hates being called Pat. I told you that I hate that name. Don't call me that, he says through clenched teeth. Wow, I guess you're not in a good mood. Maybe I should call you later. I can just imagine his facial expression right now. His jaw is probably locked, his eyes are turning black, and the vein on his forehead probably looks like it's about to burst. I love pushing his buttons. Stop wasting my time and tell me what's going on. Alright, time to be serious so he doesn't actually get pissed off. I still need him so I can destroy Ryder and take my mate back. There has been a delay in the shipment of your supplies. What do you mean there's been a delay? I mean there's been a delay. That was a really dumb question. The business that I ordered the supplies from is growing, and they've gained a lot of new customers. Since so many people are ordering things from them, they are super busy. You're gonna have to wait to get the stuff. I need those supplies now. I know. Calm down, you'll get your supplies soon. He's such a drama queen. That's not good enough. Yeah, well that sucks. In the meantime, make sure you stay under the radar. We don't need Ryder to get suspicious and find out that not only are you alive, but that you're the one that's trying to kill his mate. Or the fact that you're the one who has been sending her all those threatening messages. Can you shut up? I know what I'm doing. There's no reason for you to try to baby me, he growls. Geez, I was just trying to be helpful. What's his problem? I don't need your help. My left eyebrow arches and I feel a small smirk form on my lips. Oh really? Yes, really. He snaps at me. Well, okay. If that's the case, then I guess you'll just have to figure out how to get the supplies and money you need to take down Ryder's pack. Don't test me, pup. My smirk disappears and my earlier amusement is replaced with anger. I'm not a pup. Don't you ever disrespect me like that again. Know your place, I growl with my alpha voice. I hear him sigh, and then he mumbles a quick apology. I'm sorry, Alpha. I'll talk to you later, I need to go. he says before he hangs up. I can't believe the nerve of that guy. He's old and weak, but he still thinks he can challenge me. The only reason why I'm helping him is because he is my way into Ryder's pack. I need something to distract me before I go on a killing spree. I storm out of my study and head towards Chelsea's room. Time to get rid of the stress from today. I turn to face the person who was just talking and sigh in relief. I thought it was going to be Zach, but thankfully it's only his dad. Nothing, Alpha, there's nothing going on, I say with a fake smile. Why were you crying? I just watched a really sad movie and it made me cry. I know it was a lame lie, but thankfully Alpha Daniels falls for it. Hello John, I didn't see you at first. What are you doing here? I think I left something here earlier today. I was just looking for it, John answers with a nervous smile. Do you need any help looking for it? Alpha Daniels asks with a yawn. No, I'm good, thank you though. Oh, well you guys should get to bed soon, it's getting late. Of course Alpha, John and I say in unison. I wait until he's gone before I look back at John. I should probably start heading up to my room. John glares at me and shakes his head. You're not going back to your room. You're staying in my house from now on. You know I can't do that, John. Zach will be pissed and he'll probably try to take it out on you. He's probably waiting for me. You will not be with any other man but me from now on. John growls before picking me up and throwing me over his shoulder. Where are we going? I hiss at him as quietly as I can. Hopefully no one sees this because I know word will get to Zach, and he will not be happy. I told you, you're sleeping in my house and room from now on. I want to argue with him, but I know it won't do any good. His mind is already made up. Once we get to his house, he turns on some lights and starts heading up the stairs. I start to feel more and more nervous. I'm not sure what John is expecting from me or how I should act around him. It doesn't take long before I feel myself being lowered onto a soft bed. After putting me down, John heads over to one of his drawers and pulls out a pair of gray shorts and a white t-shirt. He walks back over and hands me the clothes. Here are some clothes to change into. I'm pretty sure they'll be more comfortable than the clothes you have on now. The bathroom is over there. I take the clothes from him and give him a grateful smile. Thank you, John. He just shrugs. That's what mates do for each other. I suck in a deep breath and nod my head. I quickly get up and head over to the bathroom. I close the bathroom door after me and I start taking my clothes off. My clothes are so dirty from cleaning the pack house and taking out the trash. I don't know how Elizabeth did this every day, but I have a newfound respect for her. I never knew how much work it would be to have to clean the entire house, especially by yourself. I look down at my skin and see all the dirt and grime on it. I really need a shower. I step inside the shower and turn on the hot water. The water helps soothe my aching muscles, and I relax a little bit. I use some of John's body wash since I don't have anything else to use. It feels nice to get all of this stuff off of me. I grab some of John's shampoo and massage it into my hair and then rinse it out. Once I'm done with that, I stand under the water for a little longer. After that, I turn off the water and step out of the shower. I grab the towel that's hanging on the towel rack and wrap it around my body. It smells just like my mate. After I dry off, I put on the clothes that he gave me. They smell just like him too, and they feel so warm and comfortable. I open up the first drawer I see and I'm glad that there's a brush that I can use. I brush through my hair before putting the brush back. I head out of the room with my clothes from today in my hand. John's eyes snap open and a growl of approval comes out from his throat. I love how my clothes look on you. You look absolutely beautiful. For the first time in my life I blushed. I've never blushed when any other guy complimented me because they never meant anything to me. But hearing John say it makes my heart skip a beat. Thank you, I mumble while looking at my feet. I feel a warm hand grasp my chin and lift it up until I'm looking into John's eyes. Don't hide your blush from me, alright? I nod my head and he picks me up and carries me back to the bed. He pulls back the covers and slips in before moving over so there's room for me. I hesitantly crawl onto the bed and snuggle into his chest. It only takes a few minutes before I feel my eyes start to close. I feel a light kiss on my forehead and I sigh in content. Before I lose conscience, I hear John whisper something in my ear. "We'll get through this together, okay? I'll always be here for you." I nod my head slightly and feel myself relax. I'm not alone anymore. I haven't been allowed to go anywhere without Ryder or someone Ryder trusts to protect me. I understand that he wants to protect me, so I haven't really said anything. Most of the house was damaged, but that's not really a big deal. We can always replace a house, but we could never replace a person. Ryder and I have been staying with Brian and Emily while the house is being inspected. The pack has basically gone into lockdown since we now know that P is in fact somewhere in this pack. Ryder is questioning everyone in this pack, and he's been very careful about who can be around me. I can't even play with the little kids anymore. I don't think that P is a pack member because all the pack members are very devoted to Ryder and this pack. I think it might be a rogue or vampire. I don't want to think that my parents had anything to do with this, but I'm not sure. I don't know who I can and can't trust. "Are you alright, Luna?" I snap out of my daydream, and see that it's Brian. I give him a small smile, but he obviously sees right through it. "It's that bad, huh?" "I'm just really worried about everything. Everything will be alright. Everyone in this pack is here for you. We're all looking for whoever is trying to kill our Luna. Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate the support all of you guys have given to me. It's a pleasure, Luna. Anything we can do to ensure your safety." I know, that's one of the reasons why I'm so worried. I don't want anyone getting hurt because of me. It's an honor to protect our Luna. Don't worry so much about us. How can I not worry about them? Has there been any more news? I look at Brian with hopeful eyes. He just sighs and shakes his head. "I'm sorry, Luna, we haven't been able to find anything." I'm about to say something when I'm interrupted by the sound of footsteps running up the stairs. I look at Brian with a frown, and he immediately stands up and stands between me and the door. His body is tense and I know that he's prepared to fight anyone who tries to hurt me. The door flings open and I see a frantic Emily trying to catch her breath. "Both of you need to come with me. It's very important." Brian and I follow her down the stairs and out of the house. Emily starts leading us through part of the forest and I become even more puzzled. "We need to be very quiet, alright? Where are we going?" I ask quietly. I think I might have heard something. We continue to follow her until she tells us to stop. She then motions towards her ears telling us to listen. I focus on the different sounds around me and then I hear a voice. The person, a male, is talking on the phone. Thanks to my werewolf hearing, I can hear what both of them are saying. "Hello?" His gruff voice answers. "Hey, Pat." Once I hear that voice, I can feel my stomach turn. The traitor in this pack is working with Zach. Oh no. I quickly mind link Ryder and tell him to come find me but to be quiet about it. "I told you that I hate that name." "Don't call me that," the man says through clenched teeth. I can't see him since we're hiding behind a lot of bushes and trees, but I can hear the anger in his voice. "Wow, I guess you're not in a good mood. Maybe I should call you later. Stop wasting my time and tell me what's going on." "There has been a delay in the shipment of your supplies." "What do you mean there's been a delay?" "The business that I ordered the supplies from is growing and they've gained a lot of new customers. Since so many people are ordering things from them, they are super busy. I need those supplies now." I know. Calm down, you'll get your supplies soon." That's not good enough. Ryder finally arrives next to me and looks around. I motion for him to listen to the conversation, and he nods his head. "Yeah, well that sucks. In the meantime, stay under radar. We don't need Ryder to get suspicious and find out that not only are you alive, but that you're the one that's trying to kill his mate, or the fact that you're the one who has been sending her all those threatening messages. Can you shut up? I know what I'm doing. There's no reason for you to try to baby me," he growls. Geez, I was just trying to be helpful. I don't need your help. Oh, really? Yes, really. Well, okay, if that's the case then I guess you'll just have to figure out how to get the supplies and money you need to take down Ryder's pack. I can hear the smugness in Zach's voice and it makes me want to rip his head off. Ryder's eyes are starting to turn black, and he's starting to shake. I quickly grab his hand and squeeze it gently. Don't test me, pup. I'm not a pup. Don't you ever disrespect me like that again. Know your place, Zach growls through the phone. I'm sorry, Alpha. I'll talk to you later. I need to go. No. He can't get away. I need to see the person behind all this chaos. I let go of Ryder's hand, which causes him to growl. I carefully move around the bushes and trees and look for the mystery man with Ryder, Brian and Emily behind me. When I see him, I feel my jaw drop and my eyes widen. Holy crap. I rub my eyes gently and look back at the figure in front of me. There's no way this is possible. I must be dreaming or something. In front of me is basically an older version of Ryder. There are some differences between the two of them, but not a lot. The similarities between the two of them are actually pretty scary. Is it his dad? It can't be though, since Ryder said his dad killed himself after his Alpha challenge. I look at Ryder, and he looks like he's seen a ghost. I have the feeling that he knows exactly who this guy is, and I'm pretty sure that's not a good thing. This guy, Patrick, is the one that's trying to kill me. He's the one that's been sending the letters to me with threats in them, and he's the one that set off the bomb earlier this week. Ryder? Are you okay? I ask through the mind link. He seems stuck in a trance and it looks like he won't be getting out of it anytime soon. I look back over at the mystery man and see that he's getting ready to leave. He keeps looking over his shoulders and around the area, probably trying to make sure that no one has caught him. I study him for a few moments, wondering if I've seen him before at all in my life. I know that I've never seen him in the pack before, but I guess he's just stayed hidden this entire time. I turn back to Emily and Brian, and I see the shock on their faces too. I know they have the same thoughts as me and are just as confused as I am. We need to get out of here, I tell them. They both look over to me before nodding their head in agreement. How are we going to get Alpha out of here? He seems to have gone into a state of shock, Brian asks me. I purse my lips slightly and try to mind link Ryder again. Ryder? I nudge his shoulder and then I flick him. He still doesn't respond, so I do the only thing I can think of. I smack him across the face. I didn't smack him too hard because that would alert the mystery man, or should I say Patrick, to our presence. Thankfully, Ryder's eyes lose some of that hazy look that he had in them before. We need to go back. He nods his head before walking off. I look over to Brian and Emily, but they just shrug before following him. We pass all the houses and head into another part of the forest. Ryder keeps walking until he gets to one specific tree. He walks up to the tree and puts his hand on the side. I look at him weirdly, wondering what he's doing. A few moments later, the trunk of the tree opens up and Brian and Emily step inside and walk down a flight of stairs. What the heck? Last time I checked, tree trunks didn't open up into doors, and they definitely have never had stairs in them before. I frown slightly before following them. Once we get to the bottom, Emily flips a light switch so we can see properly. I look around and I take in everything around me. Inside, it basically looks like a normal living room. There's a couch, a TV, some pictures on the wall, etc. Where are we? I asked after I examined the room for a few more minutes. This is the safe room. There are only 3 people who can open up the door to get here. Ryder, myself and Chris. Brian explains while pacing around the room. He looks really worried about something and I wonder if he knows who the mystery man is too. It would make sense if he did since he is Ryder's best friend. I look around the room and see that Ryder hasn't come down the stairs yet. Where's Ryder? He's probably talking to Chris. We might be here for a while, and someone needs to watch the pack and do some investigation. Do you know who that guy is? I ask, feeling slightly nervous. I think so, but it would probably be better if Ryder explained since I'm not 100% sure. We wait for a few moments before Ryder comes down the stairs. His hair is messy and he looks like a confused puppy. He runs his hand through his hair a few times while pacing. He starts mumbling to himself, and as time goes on he looks more and more distraught. I stand up and walk to him to try and comfort him. Ryder? Are you okay? I'm standing in front of him with my hands on his shoulders, but he doesn't seem to notice. I grab his chin and turn his face towards me, but it looks like he's looking right through me. How is this even happening? How is what happening? Do you know who that person is? It's not possible, he can't still be alive. What do you mean? You're not making any sense. He chased after them. How is this possible? I saw his body. I know he's dead. The look on Ryder's face is of pure sadness, and it makes my heart clench painfully in my chest. What's going on? Who are you talking about? I take my hands off his shoulders and take a step back. He can't still be alive. I saw his dead body. His eyes look haunted as he keeps murmuring to himself. I look over at Brian and Emily, but they don't say anything. Brian looks like he's putting the pieces together, but Emily looks just as confused as I am. Ryder? I ask in a quieter voice. I saw him die. I saw it with my own eyes. He died right in front of me. I guess he didn't exactly die if he's still alive though. Ryder shakes his head with a bitter chuckle and continues his pacing. Brian stands up and walks over to Ryder. Alpha, I think you need to explain things to your mate, he says while grabbing onto Ryder's shoulders. How is he still alive? Ryder mumbles with a look of disbelief on his face. I'm not sure, Ryder, but there are some things you need to explain. I just don't know how any of this is possible, Ryder says with a sigh. Ryder and Brian walk over to the side and start talking quietly. I want to know what they're saying, but I know that I'll find out soon enough. Do you know what's happening? Emily asks through the mind link. She is looking at me with a confused look on her face. I'm glad I'm not the only one who doesn't know what's happening. I have no clue, I say with a sigh. After a little longer, I start to get restless. I need to know what's going on. Brian and Ryder are still talking to each other quietly, but they stop all of a sudden and look at me. I raise my right eyebrow, waiting for either one of them to say something. Is someone going to tell me what's going on? I demand when no one says anything. I look at the two of them trying to get my answers from their facial expressions, but they don't give anything away except for Ryder. He looks like he's relieving some painful memories, and the look on his face makes my stomach turn. Suddenly, I'm not so sure I want to know. The man who is trying to kill you, he's... Ryder sucks in a deep breath before continuing. He's my uncle. My heart skips a beat before it starts beating extremely fast in my chest. What do you mean? I didn't know that you had an uncle. He's my dad's younger brother. I thought he died the same day that my mother died. Is that what you were mumbling about? Yes, I don't understand how he is still alive. Okay, go back to the beginning and tell me everything. I already told you about how rogues killed my mom and how my dad and uncle came too late. His voice cracks at the end and I reach my hand out and hold on to his. He gives me a small smile before running a hand down his face. What happened after that? I question softly. My uncle had this strange look in his eyes. It was something that I had never seen before. My dad was glaring at me and yelling how it was my fault, but my uncle ran out of the house to find the rogues. After my dad realized that he was gone, he left to go find my uncle. I followed behind because I didn't want to be left alone. I rub his back softly trying to comfort him. He looks so miserable, and I just want to take all the pain away. I watched as the rogues killed him. There were too many of them, and he was easily killed. My dad didn't even try to help my uncle. He stood back and watched as the rogues snapped my uncle's throat. My dad just said how stupid he was for trying to fight those rogues in the first place. Ryder lets out a bitter laugh and I can see the resentment he has for his dad in his eyes. My uncle and I had been so close. He was always more of a father to me than my actual father. He was the one that would take me to the park so I could play like a normal kid. He was the one that would play with me if my mom was busy. My dad never cared about me. I think the only reason he put up with me is because my mom loved me so much and my dad loved my mom. I watch as Ryder's face completely closes off until all that's left is a dark, blank look. All of us are quiet as we absorb the information Ryder gave to us. Why do you think he's doing this then? Emily asks, breaking the tense silence. I don't know. He's so different from what he used to be like. Do you think the rogues might have wiped his memory? Maybe they are the reason he's doing this, Emily suggests. The rogues didn't take him though. They killed him and then left. Well, that's what I thought. They might have injected something into him that slowed down his heartbeat enough so it would have seemed like he died. They also could have come back once you were gone, Brian adds with a thoughtful look on his face. When I went back later on that day, his body was gone. When I asked my dad about it, he said that some pack members had already taken care of him. I just assumed. Ryder trails off, his eyes flashing dangerously. Okay, so, what are we going to do? We need to continue to follow him and get more information. As much as it kills me to say this, he's the enemy right now. We need to see what's going on and stop him before he hurts anyone. I have a gut feeling that Patrick's not as innocent as we want him to be. I didn't know him before he died, but apparently he was a pretty good person. I'm just getting the feeling that he might have been working with the rogues who killed Ryder's mom. They might have done something to him after they took him, but I doubt it. They wouldn't need him to carry out their dirty work because that group of rogues is famous for being ruthless and enjoying killing people. They're not afraid of anything, but they're good at what they do. Maybe they just taught Patrick everything he knows. What if he's not innocent? What if he was working with the rogues that killed your mom? I blurt out before I can stop myself. All eyes turn to me and I swallow nervously. That's also possible, Ryder says with a nod. I was expecting him to be angry with me, but I'm shocked when I see the understanding in his eyes. I'm not saying that he actually is bad, I'm just saying. I know exactly what you're saying, and I completely agree with you. You do? I say with a slight frown. People change over time. I don't know exactly what was going on during that time since I was so young. Plus I vaguely remember the fact that my mom seemed to know the rogues. Obviously she didn't ask them to kill her, but she might have been involved with them before or even after I came along. My uncle could have been involved with them too. Obviously I don't want to think like that, but I need to look at this with unbiased opinion. What if I'm wrong though? That doesn't matter. He is still the enemy regardless of the fact that his memory could have been wiped. What do you mean? He threatened to kill you, my mate. I don't care who he island. No one messes with my mate and gets away with it. He's not working by himself though. He's working with Zach and who knows who else. Plus, he's your uncle. I won't let him hurt you, Elizabeth. That's not an option. Family or not, I will kill him if he tries to hurt you. I wish my mind would shut up so I can get some sleep. Ever since I found out who P is, my mind has been going crazy. I can't believe that my uncle is still alive, and I don't want to believe that he's the one that's been threatening my mate. It's hard to deny the facts though. I saw him with my own eyes, so I know that he's here. I should have known that it was him. I should have been more careful with who I let into the pack. I can't believe that he's been here all this time and I've never noticed. I feel so stupid. At least I know now, so now I can protect my pack and mate a lot better. This is why my pack usually kills trespassers as soon as they see them. Then, we don't have to worry about having spies in our midst. I'm not sure how he even got onto my territory. The only way that he could have gotten here is with the group of rogue and vampires that came with Elizabeth's parents. I'm not sure if Elizabeth's parents are good or not, so I'm going to have to keep a close eye on them too. I've been so distracted that I haven't been paying attention to anything but this war with Zach and finding out who P Island. Now that I know that it's my uncle, I can't help but feel like this is all my fault. I should have known that it was my uncle. He always used to sign his letters with P, because he's always hated his name. I've put everyone in my pack, especially my mate, in danger by allowing him to be here. Brian, Chris, we need to have a meeting, I say through the mind link. The tone of my voice lets them know that I'm serious and that this meeting needs to happen now. Where would you like to meet, Alpha? Brian asks. The usual place, I say, knowing that they'll understand. I'll be there in 10 minutes, I'm almost done with my patrol shift, Chris answers. See you guys soon. I cut the connection and sigh. I look over at my side and see my sleeping mate, and a small smile makes its way onto my lips. I watch as she breathes in and out calmly. She has a small smile on her face, and she cuddles into my side. I brush her hair out of her face and run my hand along her soft cheek. She lets out a cute sigh before laying her head on my chest. I'm glad that she's not afraid anymore. After I told her about my uncle, she was even more afraid then when we didn't know who P was. I hate that she's afraid, and there's nothing I can do about it. I kiss her cheek gently before slipping out of bed. I tuck her in under the covers and write her a short note telling her that I'm having a meeting, but to mind-link me if she needs me, Jake. I don't want Elizabeth to be completely alone, so I decided to mind-link her brother to see if he could watch her and protect her. Yes, Alpha Ryder, I need to have a meeting with some people, and I need you to watch Elizabeth for me, of course, Alpha. I'll be there soon. I head down to the front door and pace back and forth. It only takes a few moments before I hear a knock on the door. I open the door and let Jake inside and up to the room Elizabeth and I are staying in. She just started sleeping, so she probably won't need anything for a while. If anything happens, mind-link me. Jake nods his head and glances towards Elizabeth's sleeping form. I'll be back as soon as I can, I say before slipping out of the room. I head down the hall and see Brian standing there. I figured I'd wait for you since we're going to the same place. I nod my head and we walk out of his house through the back entrance. Once we're outside, we shift into our wolf forms. We start running through the woods while making sure no one is following us. We jump over fallen trees and dodge tree branches. My wolf relaxes slightly at being able to finally go for a run. He's been so agitated lately, so it's nice that he's finally settled down a little bit. Does Jake know what's going on? Brian asks suddenly. I haven't told him anything yet. I want to talk to you and Chris to see what we can do before I tell anyone. I'm not sure who I can trust. Isn't he watching Elizabeth right now? I'm not trying to question your judgment, but if you don't trust him, why is he with my Luna? I trust Jake with Elizabeth since he obviously cares for her. I'm not worried about his loyalty to her. He's been protecting her since she was born, and for that, I'm grateful. I just don't know if he'll accidentally let something slip and alert you know who. Once I know enough about this situation, I'll let him know. We continue to run for a few minutes before we get to our destination. On the outside, it looks like an abandoned warehouse. No one has been here for years because there hasn't been a need for anyone to be here. This warehouse has only been used a handful of times, and I hate that it has to be used now. We shift back into human form and walk the rest of the way. Brian and I go up to the door and move aside the piece of wood that's blocking the door. I scan my eye on the eye scanner that's next to the door, and then Brian does the same. The door unlocks, and we step inside. The lights are already on, so Chris must be here. This is our secret headquarters. No one but the three of us know about this place. We made this place when I first became Alpha. I knew that there would be a lot of threats, and I wanted us to have a safe place other than the tree hideout where we can talk. The outside of the building might look bad, but the inside is a completely different story. Everything is very safe and secured. All the walls are soundproof, and we have the latest technology here. Any gadget or weapon you can think of, we have. I'm glad you guys made it, Chris says while standing up from one of the chairs at the table. He bows slightly before going over to one of the computers. We're in the main room that has most of our supplies in here. Have you set up all the cameras? I asked, but already knowing that he has. That's one thing that I like about Chris. You tell him to do something, and he'll do it immediately and to the best of his abilities. Yes, Alpha. Good. I gave you a brief run through of what happened yesterday and we need to make a plan. He nods his head before turning on the computer. I've put cameras in all the places that I could. I was reviewing the tapes, and so far, nothing has happened. I haven't been able to spot your uncle at all. He hasn't gone outside, and he's even avoided the cameras I have inside the houses. I rub a hand down my face. My uncle has always been the sneaky one. He's always one step ahead. Patrick probably has some people on his team. Have you seen any strange behavior from anyone on the recordings? Brian asks while moving in closer. I haven't seen anything. Alright, let's start brainstorming some ideas, I say before sitting at the head of the table. Chris turns off the computer screen and Brian goes to grab the recorder. We document most of the things we say so we can remember them for future situations. Unfortunately, none of the old recordings will help us. Okay, so what were you thinking about? Brian questions as he sits down. I feel a small pressure on the back of my head, which means someone's trying to mind link me. I stop talking and frown in confusion. We were just about to start the meeting. I hope this is important. Alpha. What's wrong, Jake? His voice sounds frantic and worried. I immediately stand up and prepare myself for the worst. You need to come back now. What's happening? I look over at Brian and Chris and give them a nod. They immediately stand up and get ready to leave. I don't hear an answer for a little while, and I start feeling nervous. You need to come quickly. There's too many of them. Too many of who? What's going on? I growl. My patience is really running thin, and I can feel Caden trying to claw his way out. Too many rogues. We are under attack. As soon as I hear those words, I start running. My only concern is Elizabeth. I need to be there to protect her. I rip the door off the hinges and continue to run. I know Chris and Brian will fix that later. I can faintly hear them after me, but I don't pay any attention to them. I push myself to run faster so I can get there on time. I will not let anything happen to my mate. Must protect mate. Protect mate at all costs. No one will harm my mate, Caden growls in my head. I couldn't agree with him more. I can finally see the house, and I let out a sigh of relief, until I actually look around the house. There are rogues everywhere, and even though my pack is fighting, I'm not sure it will be enough. The rogues are pouring out of the woods and heading towards the houses. I've never seen so many rogues together. Usually the groups of rogues are small, ranging from about 25-50. I let out a low growl before I continue to Brian's house. I have to help my mate first. I see Brian and Chris get tackled to the ground and I hesitate slightly. I could help them quickly and then go to Elizabeth. I turn to help Chris, but he shakes his head. Go find your mate, we'll be okay. I nod my head gratefully before rushing inside. I dodge a few rogues who try to tackle me before grabbing one of them. Who sent you? I'm not telling, he says with a grin. I grimace slightly at the sight of his rotten teeth before snapping his neck. I guess I'll have to find out later. All around me are fights between my pack members and the rogues. I see that my pack members are doing okay and I'm instantly grateful for all the training my pack has done for surprise situations. Jake? Are you guys okay? Where are you? I'm holding them off as best as I can. I don't know how. Mew. I hear a scream, and then a loud thud. Elizabeth. I sprint up the stairs hoping to get to her on time. I'm almost at the top when I feel a rogue jump on my back. A vicious growl forces its way out of my throat and I try to throw the rogue off me. Another rogue jumps on top of me, and I can feel myself falling. We tumble all the way down the stairs, and I struggle to get them off of me. I don't need this distraction. Time is ticking. One of my pack warriors comes over and grabs one of the rogues off of me, leaving me with the other one. I easily throw the filthy rogue of me before breaking his neck. That's one less thing to worry about. I look around and see that more members of my pack are here and they are fighting the rogues. I will come back and help them as soon as I know that my mate is okay. I smell faint traces of blood, and I can feel my heart pounding in my chest. I have the feeling I'm too late. I shake those thoughts out of my head and continue to the room. As I get closer to the room, I realize that I can't hear anything except a faint heartbeat. There should be 2 heartbeats, one for Elizabeth, and one for Jake. If Jake had anything to do with this attack, I swear I will kill him. He will suffer a slow and painful death. I quicken my pace and throw open the door. The room looks like a tornado swept through it and then an earthquake happened. There was definitely a fight in here. There's blood everywhere, and I can see the bodies of a few rogues on the ground. I also see an unconscious Jake, but no sign of her. My heart squeezes painfully in my chest, and I'm finding it harder and harder to breathe. Where's my mate? Caden growls. I look around the room and search everywhere, but I still don't see or smell her. I'm about to head back downstairs when I look at the bed and see a note there. I've got my mate back, and there's nothing you can do about it. P.S. I thought your pack was supposed to be the best pack out there. I guess that's not true anymore, since I was able to get in here very easily. I guess you guys are losing your touch. It makes sense though, since you've gone all soft since you found your mate. I don't appreciate the fact that you took her by the way. I also don't appreciate the hideous mark on her neck. You'll pay for both of those things later on. Right now, I've got to have some fun with my mate, D. Alpha Zach. I feel my heart shatter, and I fall to my knees. She's gone and it's all my fault. I've failed her once again. Be careful with her body. Zach growls at one of my pack members. Yes, I have a small pack forming, and I'm proud of it. My pack members are loyal, and a lot stronger than Zach. Any of them could fight Zach and easily kill him. I will not have him disrespecting them. I growl at Zach and he glares at me. I want to kill him, but instead, I take in a deep breath. I'll have time to kill him later. After we kidnapped the slut, we quickly left so we could get to a safe place. Zach has this cabin somewhere that he's been bragging about, but at this point I'm not sure if he was telling the truth. We've been walking for hours. I'm starting to get restless because this is unknown territory. I know my men feel the same way. I don't understand why you want her so much. She's a useless little whore, I say while rolling my eyes. Hey. Only I can say that about her. Zach says with a smirk. I look at him with disgust before I go back to observing my men. Some of them are carrying Elizabeth's unconscious body, and some of them are in their wolf forms, ready to attack anyone who tries to stop us. I'm always amazed at their loyalty and their willingness to help me. Where's this camp that you were bragging about? I ask after a few minutes. It's only a few minutes away. Good. Aw, is someone getting tired? Zach says in a baby voice and with a smirk on his face. I'm about to reach over and strangle him when one of his pack members stops me. I quickly shrug them off and continue to walk. We walk in silence and I take this time to look at my surroundings. All I see are trees. Nothing interesting out here. It would be a great place to hide a dead body, my wolf states. I glance over at Zach and I feel a smirk forming on my lips. I can finally get rid of him. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Not yet. We still need him. Have patience for once in your life, I grumble slightly to my wolf, but I listen to him. It would be a major setback if I killed Zach right now. We're here, Zach announces. I look around and see a shady-looking building. The looks on my pack members' faces show nothing but disgust, and I almost start to laugh. Zach looks so proud of this place, and I once again start to rethink my partnership with him. Maybe I could accomplish my goals without him. Is this seriously the cabin you were talking about? My eyebrows arch as I wait for his answer. He rolls his eyes and nods his head. Of course it is. This is the perfect place. No one would ever expect us to be here. He answers like it's the most obvious thing in the world. I inwardly sigh while looking at the rundown house. I guess this will have to do. I nod at my men and they reluctantly enter the cabin. I walk in after them and my nose instantly scrunches up in distaste. This place is horrific. Zach walks in and takes a deep breath in. "Isn't this just fantastic?" he asks while looking around the place. I give him a flat look and turn away. I look around the small cabin with scrutinizing eyes. If I thought that outside was bad, this is way worse. When was the last time anyone was here? The place is covered with dust, and it smells revolting. The walls are moldy, and the floorboards creak with every step that's taken. I don't think I can work in these conditions. Are you sure there's no other place we can stay in? Zach gives me an irritated look before shaking his head. You should be grateful that we even have this place. We can either stay here, safe from Ryder and his pack, or we can go somewhere a little more comfortable and risk blowing our cover. He snaps at me. Well, you already blew our cover when you wrote that note to him. He wasn't supposed to know that you were involved with this. He was supposed to trace the blame back to the rogues you hired. I don't understand why you're so upset. You act as if I can't beat him. Both my eyebrows arch and I give him an incredulous look. You seriously think you could take him in a fight? He snorts and then smirks. I know I can take him in a fight. Any day, any time. Some of my pack members chuckle quietly, and I have to bite my lip to stop myself from laughing. This guy is more insane than I thought. Alright, anyways, what's the plan for the next few days? After the discussion with Zach, I quickly left so I could get some fresh air and think through my plan. My men are busying themselves with cleaning the shack and watching Elizabeth. Zach is in charge of getting us some food, but I'm not sure that's the best idea. He'll probably try to feed us poisonous fruits. Oh well, I have bigger things to worry about. Elizabeth should be awake soon, so I know I have to act quickly. I also know that Ryder should be searching for his mate soon, so I have a time limit. I hate having to do this to my nephew, but this is necessary. He'll get over it. He's a tough guy, so I'm not worried about it. I know he'll thank me later on. I'll find him a more suitable mate, and then he'll be happy. I have to find a way to get Zach to kill her since I don't want Ryder to trace things back to me. He's going to be so happy to find out that I'm actually alive. He won't even care about the fact that his mate was killed. Everything is going to be perfect. I know he'll be confused for a little bit, but I already have a made-up story to explain the reason why I've been missing for all this time. My plan has been going great. The only problem is that dimwit Zach. I honestly think that he's trying to get all of us killed. If I had known that he was going to be this stupid, I would have never agreed to help him. I would have found another way to get the job done. I can't believe that Zach left a note taunting Ryder. He's honestly so stupid. We were supposed to go in, and then leave. I get that he wanted to gloat and stuff, but now's not the time. Now he's put my life in danger, and he's compromised my plan. I look up and see that it's pitch black out here. I should probably head back and see how everyone's doing. On my way back, my beta mind links me. Alpha, I've met with him. We're still on schedule. I smirk slightly. Good. We'll proceed with the plan soon. Keep me updated if anything new happens. Yes, Alpha. Where am I? I can't remember anything. The last thing I remember is going to sleep in Ryder's arms. I don't know how I ended up in this cold, dusty room. I look around me and try to find a way to get out of here. I stand up even though my legs feel like jello and I wander around the room. The walls are a faded yellow color and I can see mold forming on some of them. The room is completely sealed off and the only way out is through the door, but I can hear someone's heartbeat outside of the door, so I don't think that's my best escape route. I look around the room, hoping to find a window or a vent, but there's nothing. I stand up from the floor and look around. Why can't I remember anything? Where's Ryder? I have so many questions, but my head feels so heavy. I hear the door open, and I quickly turn around. I see Zach and I feel my heart drop to my stomach. Oh no, please tell me that I'm dreaming. This can't be real. There has to be some mistake. I see you're awake. Are you hungry? I decide not to respond to him. Instead, I look at the floor as I shuffle on my feet. Zach would always get angry if I looked directly at him. Are you going to answer me? I stay silent and hope that he leaves. I hear a few groans that the floorboards let out before I feel a sharp stinging on my cheek. I fall to the ground, and before I can react, I feel a sharp kick to my ribs. I groan quietly and try to curl up in a ball. Next thing I know, I'm being lifted from the ground by my throat. Zach squeezes my throat, and I choke slightly. I asked you a question. When I ask you a question, you answer it, got it? Zach growls while getting in my face. I can barely breathe and my vision starts to become fuzzy. I thrash around violently trying to get free from his grasp, but he just squeezes my throat tighter. My limbs grow weaker, but I still try to fight. Before I lose consciousness, I'm dropped to the floor. I gasp for breath, which in turns hurts because of the bruises forming on my neck. I cough up some blood and Zach just scoffs before leaving the room. Absolutely pathetic, he mumbles as the door closes. I lay on the ground coughing up blood for a few minutes. After a little while, I crawl to the corner of the room before wrapping my arms around my knees. I rock back and forth with tears streaming down my face. I try to think of how to get out of here, but I conclude that there's no way I could ever escape. I'm all alone with no way to contact anyone. Wait a minute, maybe I can use the mind link. Ryder? All I hear is silence. I frown slightly before trying again. When I get the same result, I start to panic. Okay, deep breaths, Liz. Maybe it's because I'm too far away from the pack. I don't know how long I've been knocked out, so we couldn't have gotten that far away from the pack. Maybe I should try reaching out to Annabelle now. She always knows what to do. Annabelle? I try to reach out to my wolf, but I can't hear anything. I can't even feel her. This is bad. This is really bad. The tears start pouring out of my eyes even faster, and I choke down my sobs. I don't want to give Zach another reason to come back in here. I stare at the wall, opposite me, feeling completely helpless. There's nothing I can do. This is the end for me. I hear the door open up again, but I don't get up from my spot. I use my hair as a sort of protection from the person, but I know that won't do much. I don't get what everyone sees in you. My head snaps up at the unfamiliar voice. My eyes widen when I see that it's Ryder's uncle. My heartbeat increases and I see him smirk. I'm sure he's glad that I'm afraid of him. What do you want from me? I ask in a small voice. Me? I don't want anything to do with you. In fact, if I had things my way, you wouldn't even be alive anymore. I gulp loudly and then wince at the pain in my throat. Who are you? I ask. Hopefully he doesn't realize that I already know who he island. A small smirk makes its way across his face, and I can feel my heartbeat thundering against my ribcage. I'm your worst nightmare. The smirk on his face widens and I shiver slightly. He's about to say something when a man steps in the room. Alpha, he says before bowing. Alpha. What's going on? He has a pack. The man gestures towards outside and Patrick nods his head. I'll be back for you later. Don't try anything because you will be punished. The evil glint in his eyes makes my bottom lip quiver and I can feel more tears spilling out of my eyes. He smirks, obviously satisfied by my reaction before leaving the room with the man. What am I going to do? It's been a while since Zach and Patrick kidnapped me. I'm not sure how much time has passed exactly, but I can feel myself growing weaker and weaker. I still haven't been able to feel Annabelle, so I haven't been able to contact anyone. Every hour someone comes to check up on me. Every 4 hours food is brought to me. I ignore the people when they check up on me and refuse to answer any of their questions. Some of the men get really angry when I do that, so I've gotten a few hits here and there. I don't make a sound because I don't want them to have the satisfaction. I don't eat the food because I know that it's probably poisoned. I don't know why I can't feel Annabelle, but I feel like if I eat some of the food, things will get worse. Every minute that I'm away from Ryder brings me pain. My heart beats dully in my chest. I don't have the will to live or do anything. These feelings would be so much worse if Ryder and I had mated. At least this way when I die he won't feel as much pain. I'm brought out of my sad thoughts by the creaking of the door as it opens. I hear the door close and my heartbeat increases. This room is soundproof and some of the guys have been threatening to do some things to me if I don't start cooperating. I shudder and wrap my arms around my knees. Are you hungry, miss? Oh, it's only him. I prefer when he comes to check on me or when he brings me food since he is the kindest one. It's hard to believe that he's part of this mess since he seems so nice. Maybe it's not by choice. When I continue to stare at the wall, he lets out a sigh. I'm worried about you. You really need to eat. I still don't answer, and I can see he's starting to get a little frustrated. What would your mate think if he was here? You can't stay like this. You need to fight. For your mate and your pack, please don't give up. Something inside of me stirs, and I blink a few times. He's right. I can't just give up. I have a mate and a pack that's out there probably worried out of their minds, and here I am acting like a baby. I've always been weak, and I've never stood up for myself. That needs to change. I will not go down without a fight. I look up and glance at the man for the first time. He has short black hair, brown eyes, and a splash of freckles across his nose. His eyes are kind even though his face looks kind of scary. He's pretty muscular, and I have no doubt that he could kill me in an instant. Why are you helping me? Why do you even care? I'm honestly curious as to why he's doing this. He's basically putting his life in danger for me, the enemy. Because you're innocent, and I'm tired of seeing innocent people hurt. I'm tired of this life. I want out. He looks like he's remembering a painful memory. I raise an eyebrow, but he just shakes his head. I guess that's a story for another time. Who are you? I can't really say anything right now. Just know that I'm on your side. The honest look in his eyes allows me to relax a little. I nod my head slightly and he gives me a brief smile. Is the food poisoned? The food that people have been bringing me? I need to know if my suspicions were correct. It usually island. Zach has separate food prepared for you that has been drugged. This is some of the fresh food that I was able to get from the kitchen. If anyone else offers you food, don't take it. I nod and slowly take the plate of food from him that I hadn't noticed before. I slowly pick up a piece of bread and rip little pieces off before shoving some in my mouth. My stomach rumbles and I'm reminded how hungry I actually am. I continue to eat the food slowly, trying to make sure I don't upset my stomach even more. Why can't I feel my wolf? I'm not really sure. I think Patrick has some special plant or something that can block your connection with your wolf. I'm not really sure what it is or how it works. I put the piece of bread I had in my hands back onto the plate. There's a plant that can stop you from feeling your wolf? How does Patrick know about this? I feel my stomach churn and my heartbeat increase. If I can't use my wolf, how am I going to be able to escape or fight back? Things just got a whole lot more complicated. What am I supposed to do? My voice is barely above a whisper, and I'm sure it reflected how scared I feel. I don't know what it is, but I can't help but trust this guy. You'll find help in an unlikely person. Keep your eyes open. Maybe he's the person that's supposed to help us. I mean, he is an unlikely option since he's here with Patrick and Zach. At this point, I need an ally, and he's been the nicest person to me, so I'm going to have to trust him at least a little bit. For right now, we just need to wait. I don't really have enough information to help you escape from here. If I am able to escape, what will happen to you? Before he can answer my question, we hear the sound of the door being unlocked and then opened. Ah, I see you've gotten the slut to eat. Patrick has a slight smirk on his face as he strolls into the room. The mystery man's face goes from being kind to being completely stony. All of his emotions are hidden and he looks scary. I gulp before going back to eating my food slowly. So, what did you have to do to get her to eat? I threatened to kill her parents right in front of her. The lies come out of his mouth smoothly and I almost sigh in relief. I need to have a nickname for him since I don't know his actual name. I quickly scan his face, before coming up with something simple. Brown eyes. His eyes hold so many emotions and it's actually quite fascinating. Why didn't I think of that? No one answers Patrick's rhetorical question and he just shrugs it off. Did you need me, Alpha? Yes, I have some important business that I need you to take care of for me. Both men exit the room and I let out a breath that I didn't know I was holding. Patrick seriously gives me the creeps. It's hard to believe that he's related to Ryder. Ryder. My sweet, funny, loving mate. I miss him so much. I miss everyone else too, but I miss him the most. I know that I have to try and get out of here for his sake. I'm going to have to get my strength up before I try to do anything. Hopefully Brown Eyes is really on my side. It's time to get up. I don't have time to react before I feel myself being pulled up by my hair. My eyes shoot open and tears form in them from the pain. I see Zach's smirking face and I bite my lips so a whimper doesn't escape. Aren't you happy to see me? That's no way to treat your mate. Give me a proper greeting. Zach has a mocking smile on his face and I have to look away so I don't try to reach out and strangle him. I need to be patient. Zach starts dragging me along the floor while whistling. What is wrong with him? Where are we going? Zach looks shocked by my question before he shakes his head slightly. That's not the greeting I want. I'm slightly confused by what he means until he starts moving his face closer to mine. His eyes are dark and evil and I can feel my vision becoming blurry because of my tears. Oh no. Please no. I start struggling, but he just yanks on my hair, causing my head to snap back. I scream out in pain at the feeling. It feels like my head was just ripped off my body. The smirk on Zach's face widens and I cringe away from him. I can't really move anymore and tears pour out of my eyes at the pain. My neck hasn't started healing yet and I honestly think I might die. Honey, don't try to act like you don't want it. It's just a simple kiss. I'll let you off the hook this time, but next time I won't be so lenient. Tears well up in my eyes, but I try to stop them from falling. I've already let out a few tears. I don't want him to see anymore. Patrick chooses that moment to come into the room. He looks quite annoyed when he sees Zach. What's taking so long? We have to get going. We don't have time for your games. He growls. Zach just rolls his eyes before starting to walk again while pulling me along. Well, it looks like someone's not a morning person. Patrick growls at Zach before clenching his jaw. We need to leave now. All right, we'll be there soon. Don't worry. Patrick storms out of the room and slams the door closed. Zach looks at me with a sarcastic smile. Come on, it's time to go. His Majesty is waiting. That's the last thing I hear before my eyes close on their own accord and darkness takes over. I pace back and forth in my office while running my hand through my hair. Elizabeth has been missing for over a week, and I'm so close to losing my mind. The only thing that's keeping me sane is the satisfaction I know I'm going to feel when I kill Zach and anyone else who's been helping him. As soon as I find him, he's a dead man. I won't make his death simple either. I will make sure that he's tortured and punished for what he's done. It's a universal thing in the werewolf world to know that you're not supposed to take someone else's mate. The fact that he took my mate makes things even worse. Having me as an enemy is something you don't want. My pack didn't get its reputation from being nice. There's a reason why we are the most feared pack in the world. We take care of each other, and if you mess with one of us, you're messing with all of us. I stop my pacing for a moment to look at the picture of Elizabeth and I that I have on my desk. In the picture, I'm giving Elizabeth a piggyback ride. We both have huge smiles on our faces, and we were completely unaware that Emily had taken this picture. My chest aches at the sight of this picture and I slowly run my finger over her face. I miss her so much. I wish that she was here with me. I quickly put the picture down before I get emotional. I'm supposed to be the strongest alpha in the world. I need to keep myself together for my pack and my mate. Thankfully, I'm pulled out of my thoughts by a knock on the door. I open the door and come face to face with my beta. Alpha, we found something that we think might be very important to helping us find the Luna. I look at my beta's face, and once again I thank the moon goddess for him. Chris and him have really helped me over this last week with everything. One of them will be helping me with pack stuff while the other is leading some of our top scouts out to try to find clues about where my mate island. What is it? I go and stand next to him, waiting for his answer. We were able to trace Zach down to this abandoned warehouse. Then, what are we doing here? We should be out getting my mate, but he left about a day ago. We were able to faintly pick up his and Luna's scent. Where is he now? We're not sure, but we were able to intercept this letter. I think it was left there for someone else, but we got there before them. Alright, let me see the letter. Brian nods before pulling out a folded piece of paper. No one has read it yet since we thought you would want to be the first person. I slowly unfold the letter and start to read it. When I open my eyes, I notice that I'm in the middle of what looks like a field of flowers. I frown slightly while looking around. Where am I? How did I get here? I look for signs of anyone else, but I don't see anyone. Hello? My voice carries through the field, but I'm met with silence. Is anyone there? Hello? My frown deepens as I start walking in a random direction. Maybe someone's here, but they can't hear me. As I walk, I take time to admire the flowers. I see different assortments of flowers and I can't help but smile. All the smells blend together to make a magnificent scent. I inhale deeply and feel myself relax slightly. The more time that I spend here, the more I relax. It's so calm and peaceful here. Maybe I could just stay here forever. I quickly shake that thought out of my head. People are waiting for me. I need to get out of here, and then I need to think of a way to escape Zach and Patrick. I'm not sure which one will be harder to accomplish, but I have to try. I don't know how long I've been walking, but I'm starting to get really tired. I'm also really hungry. I really need to find a way out of here. Hello? Can anyone hear me? I can hear you. I let out a happy shriek before starting to turn to face the person who answered me. Finally. Someone else is here. You could have responded earlier, but I guess better late than never. Anyways, I need a way out of. When I finally face the woman, my jaw drops, and I just stare. Moon Goddess, what are you doing here? I'm sorry for my snappy attitude before, I didn't mean it. My voice becomes frantic at the end and she lets out a chuckle. It's alright, child, I understand. So, what am I doing here? What is this place? This is where I live. You're here because I need to talk to you, she answers with a simple shrug. I'm sure my jaw is hanging on the ground at this point, but I'm too shocked to even care. When I finally regain control over my actions, I clear my throat before standing a little taller. I don't want to look weak in front of her. You need to talk to me. May I ask why? Of course you can ask why. This is something that is about you, so of course you can ask. The friendly smile on her face eases some of my nerves and I let out a steadying breath. Alright, so what's up? I wonder out loud with an awkward smile. I want to talk to you about everything that's happened. She states with a concerned frown on her face. Oh, right. My heartbeat increases, but I try to stay calm. What's troubling you, child? What's the main thing that you're worried about? I'm worried about basically everything that's been going on. I don't know if I'm strong enough to face this situation. I murmur quietly, feeling embarrassed to be admitting this. Why do you feel that way? I don't know what to do. I'm not strong enough to be able to take on Patrick and Zach at the same time. Child, you have great powers, she says with a chuckle. I let out a snort and roll my eyes. With all due respect, are you sure you know who you're talking to? If I have great powers, then I wouldn't be in this situation. She shakes her head slightly with an amused smile. Well, I'm glad she thinks this is funny. I know exactly who you are. Are you forgetting who I am? I pale slightly and shake my head. Of course not. I'm just a little confused. I meant what I said before. You have a great amount of powers. The reason why you haven't been able to use them is because you lack courage. You're a very timid person, and you don't trust in yourself. All you need is a little more confidence and you'll be fine. Well, it's not really my fault that I'm not that confident. The only friend I had growing up was my brother, I grumble forcefully. I don't mean to sound so disrespectful, but I just want to know why she never helped me. I know. I've seen the hardships that you've gone through, but there wasn't much that I could do. If anything changed, you wouldn't have been able to get a second chance at happiness. You wouldn't be the kind-hearted person that you are. Why couldn't the first time be happy for me? I question quietly. That was the original plan, but as you can see, things didn't turn out that way. Don't you know what's going to happen? Why did you let that happen to me? No, child, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I make all of you, and I give everyone a pure heart, but people can always stray and become something completely different. Everything is ultimately up to the person. Everyone starts off good, but some people change because of greed and jealousy. Your life wasn't supposed to be the way it was. One person's actions changed your entire life. Do you think I would have been happier if the person had not made that decision that altered everything? I asked the question, but I already know the answer. I'm definitely happier now. I'm so thankful for Ryder, Emily, Jake, and everyone else in the Blood Falls pack. There's no way that I would have been happier before. I know that you already know the answer to that, she says with a knowing smile. I nod my head at her. So what happens now? I ask after a few moments of silence. You need to learn to unlock your powers. You've been suppressing them all your life. How do I unlock them? You need to believe in yourself. I can't help the laugh that escapes my mouth. I try to go back to a serious face, but it doesn't work. I'm sorry, I say as another giggle escapes. The moon goddess just looks at me with an amused smile and I feel the anger that I had before being replaced with happiness. If my childhood had been different, I wouldn't have experienced certain things, and I wouldn't be who I am today. It's alright, I understand how cliché that sounded. I'm serious though. Your powers will come to you when you listen to your instincts and your wolf. I frowned slightly at that last part. I can't contact my wolf because of something Patrick has done. Ah, yes, I almost forgot about that. I can't exactly help you get your wolf back. Just remember one thing, you're not a full werewolf, you are part vampire. As she said that, she starts taking a few steps away from me. My face scrunches up in confusion, and I try to walk towards her. Wait, where are you going? It's time for you to wake up now. You have an important job to do today. I still have some things that I want to ask you. Ryder and the rest of your loved ones are okay. They're very worried about you, so you need to wake up now. Before I can say anything else, I feel my eyes closing on their own accord. Be strong and courageous, young one, is the last thing I heard before I lose consciousness. I gasp awake and look at my surroundings. I'm in a car, and I'm wedged in between Brown Eyes and Zach. Zach rolls his eyes when he sees that I'm awake and Brown Eyes glances at me with worry in his eyes. The rest of his face is completely blank but his eyes tell everything. Are you okay? I gasp in shock and look around the car with wide eyes. Where did that voice come from? I still can't feel Annabelle, so it's not like I'm using a mind link. Maybe I'm just going crazy. It's me, Luna. I look over at Brown Eyes with a surprised look. How can I hear you in my head? Perks of being a vampire. What do you mean? Aren't you a werewolf? I'm a hybrid, just like you. I look at Brown Eyes like he's crazy. Are you serious? He nods his head slightly, and I try to wrap my mind around that fact. How does he even know that I'm a hybrid? Does anyone know about us being hybrids? He shakes his head and I feel a little relieved. So vampires have a mind link too? I ask. Kind of. It's similar to it, but different at the same time. How did you know that I was a hybrid? It's just like how werewolves can sense other werewolves. Vampires can do the same with other vampires. How come I couldn't sense you, then? Because you don't really know that much about vampires. I can tell that you are not in touch with your inner vampire. My inner vampire? What is that? How do I get in touch with it? You have to accept it. Right now you are rejecting that part of you. I'm not sure how to do that. Don't worry, I'll train you once we get to the place. Do you know where we're going? Not exactly. I know the general area, but not the specifics. Do you think they'll let you train me? Absolutely not. That's why we're not going to tell them. I frowned slightly. Then how are we going to do this? Don't worry, I have a plan. Before I can say anything else, I feel someone pulling my arm. It's time to go, Zach says in a fake cheerful voice. I look over, and see that Brown Eyes is talking to Patrick. Patrick looks over in my direction and gives me a bone-chilling smirk. I gulp before turning away. I look around me as Zach continues to drag me along a dirt path. It's pretty dark outside, but I can still see perfectly thanks to my enhanced vision. I try to see if I can recognize anything, but everything is unfamiliar. I pout slightly before replaying the different conversation that I had today. I spoke to the moon goddess earlier. I actually met her and she was so awesome and nice. I had always been a little mad at her for not helping me, but after my conversation with her, I knew that anger was misplaced. I shouldn't be mad at her since it's not her fault. Also, she was able to give me another shot at happiness. I'll be forever grateful for that. Then there was the conversation that I had with Brown Eyes. I didn't know that he was a hybrid too. I now know for a fact that he's really on my side. He even called me Luna, and rogues don't do that. That was a sign of his respect. Hopefully he'll be able to help me unlock my powers. Maybe if I accept my vampire, I'll be able to use them. Patrick and Brown Eyes start walking behind Zach and I. So where's this place that you were talking about? I hope it's better than the last place. Patrick says with disgust. Zach just rolls his eyes. You need to learn your place, pup. I don't have to help you at all. You and your men can go back to where you came from, Zach declares with a smug smile. Patrick grumbles something that I don't catch before becoming silent. We walk for a few minutes before we get to an abandoned warehouse. What's up with Zach and old warehouses? I hear Patrick groan in frustration, which causes Zach to smirk again. Aw, is little Patrick getting angry? I stare at Zach with wide eyes. I don't know why he's always trying to pick fights with people who are clearly stronger than him. No, this place is just perfect, Patrick answers sarcastically. Once we get inside, I almost puke. The smell in here is awful. My nose scrunches up in revulsion. I see everyone else but Zach doing the same thing. This guy seriously has some issues. It doesn't take long before some of his men take me to my new holding place. I see Brown Eyes give me a nod before discreetly tapping his forehead. If you need me, you can always reach out to me. I give him a brief grateful smile before I'm dragged away. I'm shoved in a room that looks similar to the last room I was in. It smells even worse in this room than the outside area, and I wonder how long I'm going to have to stay here. There's nothing on the walls, except mold, and there are no windows. I sigh before sitting down on the twin-sized bed that's in the room. I frown slightly when I feel how stiff the mattress island. I also notice that I don't have a pillow. I would use the blankets on the bed, but they smell bad and have questionable stains on them. I quickly take the sheets off the bed and put them on the ground. It's a good thing that my body temperature is higher than a normal human's body temperature. I sit on the bed for a few minutes staring blankly at the wall across from me. I hear an annoying dripping sound and it's starting to get on my nerves. I stand up and start walking around the room. I'm about to head back to the bed before I feel a drop on the top of my head. I frown before taking a step to the side and then looking up at the ceiling. That part of the ceiling looks like it's caving in and that it might fall in soon. At least the bed's not under that portion. I take the blankets that I put near the bed and put them under the leaking part of the ceiling. I sigh happily when the dripping stops. I don't know how long I was waiting before I heard footsteps heading towards me. I cross my fingers hoping it's Brown Eyes. The door unlocks and I hold my breath. When I see his face, I let out a sigh of relief. He opens the door before stepping in and then closing it, He hands me some food that I take from his hands quickly. I'm so hungry. Everyone should be asleep soon. I'll be back in about 30 minutes, he says before leaving the room and closing the door. When he finally comes back for me, I'm shaking in anticipation. I'm so nervous about this little training session. What if I can't do this? What if I mess up really badly and he doesn't want to help me anymore? He unlocks the door and lets me step out of the room before closing it shut tightly. He locks up the door again before placing the keys back into his pocket. He puts something in my hands and I feel confused before I notice the clean clothes. I've been wearing the same outfit for the last week or so, and it's getting really uncomfortable. We stop at a bathroom that's right across the hall and I change as quickly as I can. Are you sure that they won't catch us? I inquire in our link as I leave the bathroom. I'm positive. I slipped something in all of their drinks and foods so they won't be waking up for a while. Also, I'm the only one that has the keys to your room. No one will be able to check to see if you're in there. Don't worry so much. I exhale lightly and nod my head before I remember something. What about the people that Zach has on patrol? Most of them are sleeping, but there are a few of them who take their jobs seriously, so we'll just have to watch out for them. You don't have to be afraid though. If something happens, I will protect you. I feel so much better now, even though I know there is a slight chance that we could be caught. I have no doubt that Brown Eyes would be able to keep me safe. Alright, let's go. We quietly walk through the house before leaving through the front door. I follow Brown Eyes through the woods for a few minutes. Once we get to a certain spot, he stops walking. Alright, I think this is far enough. They won't hear us from over here if they happen to wake up. I also made sure to pick a place where the guards are usually sleeping. Okay, I say while putting my hair in a ponytail. After that, I shift nervously on my feet. We'll start off with some simple breathing techniques. I nod my head before I realize something. Wait, can I at least know your name? I've been calling you Brown Eyes in my head, but I think your real name would be better. An amused smile makes its way on his lips and he chuckles slightly. My name is Carter. Really? I thought your name would be something more intimidating. He laughs again. Intimidating? Did you think my name would be Monster or something? He asks in between laughs. I just shrug with a sheepish smile which causes him to shake his head. His face suddenly becomes serious and I know that it's time to get to work. Are you ready to learn? He questions as he takes his shirt off. Let's do this, I answer with a firm nod. I pace my office and run a hand through my hair. I exhale loudly and try to clear my foggy brain. I'm not sure who or what I can believe in right now. The words of the letter have been replaying in my head ever since I've read them. I've memorized it from the amount of times I've read it. Ryder, you've got to help me. I don't know where I am, or what I'm doing. The people seem to have some sort of control over me. No matter how hard I try, I can't break this spell that they have on me. I only have a few moments of clarity once in a while. I'm trying to write this letter quickly while I still have time. I need you to know the truth of what happened that night all those years ago. I thought I had died that day, but apparently I didn't. The rogues, they captured me and they've been experimenting on me. They've been trying to find out information about you and your pack, but thankfully, they haven't been successful. I've locked all my past memories up and they can't reach them. Those same rogues are working with Zach. They've kidnapped your mate too. I don't know what's going on, since I can never remember what I've done, while they're controlling me. I'm sorry if I've had a part in her kidnapping. You've got to understand that I would never do anything to hurt you. You've got to find me and break this curse. I don't want to be like this anymore. I'm tired of being their servant. I don't want to hurt innocent people. If you want to find us, I was able to overhear Zach saying that we were heading to Lebanon, Kansas. Please hurry. You need to get to your mate before something bad happens to her. I grumble slightly under my breath before I lay down on the couch in my office. Ever since Elizabeth was taken, I've avoided that room. Every time I go near it, my chest aches, and I feel a wave of sadness pass over me. I need to find my mate soon before I go completely insane. As I lay on the couch, my mind drifts back to the letter. I don't know what I should do. I want to believe my uncle, but I know that he is obviously working with Zach. If I hadn't heard that phone call earlier, I might have believed him, but now, it would be stupid of me to believe that he's completely innocent. Now that I'm thinking about it though, none of this makes sense. I'm pretty sure his letter was supposed to make him sound innocent, but it didn't. It sounded like something that he heard in a really bad action movie and then he decided to write it on a piece of paper. How would he have random moments of clarity? He said that he couldn't remember anything that happened during the times that he was under their influence. But then he said that he knows what's been happening to him. Also, the people would keep a close eye on him if that was the truth. They wouldn't want him contacting anyone and telling other people about them. Also, how would he know where they are going? He claimed that overheard it, but that's a lie. He wouldn't have remembered it if he actually heard it. Also, he said that he didn't know where he was, or where he was going. I don't know who he's trying to fool, but it's not really working. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. If he wants to sound believable, he should have at least kept his story straight. I can't believe I didn't see the truth earlier. It was right in front of me, but I couldn't concentrate. How could he work with people who are trying to hurt my mate? Has he lost his mind? I hope he realizes that he's not going to get away with this. I can't wait till the next time I see him. He will die a very slow and painful death. I should probably get some sleep, since I have an early morning. I had Chris do some investigating, and he was able to find some information about Zach that will help us trace him. I know that he's going to be on the move soon, so we have to make sure that we get to his next destination before him. We'll meet him and his group there, and I'll kill everyone who had a part in taking Elizabeth away from me. I lay my head down on the armrest and close my eyes. I move around a bit to try and get comfortable, but I stop when I realize that's not going to happen. I won't be able to sleep properly until I get my mate back. I take in a deep breath and remind myself that I'll be with her soon. I feel my eyes closing, and I welcome sleep. Again. I take a deep breath and try to pin Carter to the ground for the 10th time tonight. He easily dodges my attack and I let out a groan of frustration. I don't want to do this anymore. I've tried every single day for the past 5 days, and nothing has happened. I'm sick of this training. I give Carter a glare before I try to walk away. I only make it a few steps before I feel a gentle hand grab my wrist. Liz, you need to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not good at fighting. I'm weak, and I can't do it. The hand on my wrist tightens to the point where it's almost painful, and I let out a quiet gasp. Don't say that. Carter growls at me. He looks as frustrated as I am. Why not? It's the truth. He opens his mouth to say something before he stops. He stares at me for a few moments before a smirk makes its way onto his face. The atmosphere around the two of us changes dramatically. My face scrunches up in confusion and I'm immediately on guard. You know what? You're right. You are pretty weak. My eyes narrow slightly at him. He has an arrogant smirk on his face, and I let out a puff of air. Is that supposed to make me feel better? No, I'm just telling the truth. I'm sick and tired of listening to you complain. I don't even know why I bothered to act like I actually liked you. I can't help but feel slightly hurt by what he just said. He was only pretending. This entire time, he didn't even like me. Whatever, I don't need him. Fine then, you don't have to pretend anymore. A dark look creeps onto his face and I swallow nervously. I try to take a step back, but then I remember that he's still holding my wrist. Good. Before I can even react, I'm on the ground laying on my stomach. My wrists are wrapped behind my back and my legs are being held down by one of his legs. I squirm around trying to get free, but he just holds on even tighter. He lets out an evil laugh and I start getting a little scared. I shouldn't have trusted him. I should have just ignored him when he said he was trying to help me. This is what I get for being so naive. You're honestly so pathetic. I was hoping that I would at least have more of a challenge, but whatever, I'm still going to have fun killing you. I try to free one of my arms or legs, but I can't get out of his hold. Suddenly, a cool piece of metal is placed on my neck. I stop moving around and stare at the knife in shock. I wouldn't move around so much if I were you. You might cut yourself. The teasing tone in Carter's voice makes my blood boil, and I wish that I could actually do something. Aw, poor little helpless Elizabeth, you have such soft skin, did you know that? He questions as he runs a hand down my left arm. I try to use that moment to free one of my hands, but he has both of them wrapped in one of his. I growl and try to think of a way out of this. I can't seem to think of anything because my mind is clouded with hurt. I trusted him, and he was just lying to me. He never wanted to help me. I was so stupid to trust him. This entire week, he's been so nice and patient with me while I try to improve my fighting and learn how to use my powers. I can't believe that I didn't notice what his real intentions were. It's a shame that I have to cut this perfect skin. Get your hands off me, I growl while trying to sound intimidating. Carter just lets out a dark chuckle. You're not really in the position to be making demands. I'm the one that's in control. It would be best if you remembered that. Why are you doing this? I make my voice as emotionless as possible when I ask this question. I don't want him to know his betrayal hurt me. You thought that I would actually help someone like you? I was just seeing if you would actually be a threat, but you're obviously not. My cheeks start to turn a bright red from my anger. He's so dead once I get out of his grasp. I feel so bad for Ryder though. He really got the short end of the stick. I don't know how he put up with you for so long. What's that supposed to mean? What are you talking about? I hate to be the one to tell you the truth, but I'm going to do it anyways. What truth? He's silent for a few minutes before I hear him let out a dramatic sigh. I can almost see him shaking his head back and forth in disappointment. I can't believe the moon goddess would pair you up with someone like Ryder. If you ask me, he didn't deserve you as a burden. He was having a great life, and then you messed everything up. Did you know that he's not even looking for you right now? He was the one that let us into his pack. Obviously he had to make it believable, so he didn't tell anyone of his plan. I was actually surprised by his amazing acting skills. You actually thought that he cared for you. My heart aches in my chest, but I try to ignore his words. I shake my head and try to get away from him. I don't want to listen to his lies anymore. I bet you didn't know that he was the one that set all of this up. He was getting tired of pretending to like you, so he had all of this planned. He would have killed you himself, but he didn't want your blood to be on his hand. Tears start falling down my cheeks and I whimper slightly. Ryder was just faking everything? No, that can't be the truth. I know that he would never hurt me. You're lying to me, I manage to whisper through my tears. My fist clench and my body tenses. Ryder would never do that to me. He lets out a snort before pressing my face into the ground. I'm not lying though. His uncle never died, his uncle was just living in another pack. Ryder is paying Zach a good amount, so you could be taken away. Zach said that the only reason he would help Ryder was because he missed having you as a slave. I try to stop my tears, but they just keep pouring down my face. I keep trying to convince myself that this is all a lie, but I don't know anymore. My sadness starts to be replaced with rage, and I start shaking slightly. You're completely useless. No one would ever love you. I don't even know why you decided to keep living all this time. I guess some people just can't take a hint. Oh well, I guess I'll just have to do the job you failed to do. The knife presses more into my skin and I let out a shaky breath. I feel bad for all those people who had to act like they actually liked you. I've only known you for how long? A little more than 2 weeks and I could barely handle it. I'm sure everyone will be happier when you're gone. These are words that I've heard many times in the past, especially from Zach, and I already know what's going to happen. The abuse. I sit there lamely with my jaw clenched and my eyes closed. Wow, you're already giving up? I expected more from you, but I guess I should have known. You've never fought for anything in your life. You've just let things happen to you. So weak. Those words strike a nerve in me and I can feel my body tensing again. That seems to be the reaction he wanted though, which only serves to further anger me. What am I doing? I promised myself that I would be strong, and that I would start fighting back, and I'm over here cowering like a little baby. Maybe I really don't deserve Ryder. He would be better off with someone stronger and wiser. More rage starts pumping through my system, and I mentally scold myself and think of all the negatives of my life and situation. What's wrong? Are you upset now? Did I hit another nerve? Aw, you poor baby. The mocking tone of his voice makes me scowl at the ground below me. I feel something in me start stirring and awakening, and I can barely contain my fury. Enough. With that one word, Carter goes flying across the field and hits his back against one of the trees. He stops talking and just stares at me with wide eyes. I can feel my anger start to grow as I take a few steps in his direction. You are a traitor, and a deceiver. You will pay for what you've done to me. My voice sounds foreign to my own ears, and I'm shocked that I was able to say that with so much authority. The voice sounds like mine, but it's mixed with another voice. With every step that I take, I feel more and more power flowing through my veins. For once, I actually feel powerful, almost like I can do anything. Carter's face turns a very pale color, and I smirk slightly. It feels good to finally have the upper hand. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with you yet. Should I kill you, or should I torture you first? I don't know what's making me so violent all of a sudden, but I can't seem to control my emotions or actions anymore. It feels like another part of me has taken over. It almost feels like if my wolf had taken over, but I know that's not the case. This feels different, yet similar. I watch as my body continues to pace in front of Carter. Elizabeth. I know you're in there. You need to control your vampire, so my vampire is in control. That means that I can finally use my powers. Elizabeth isn't here right now. A sly smirk settles onto my lips and I see fear flash in his eyes. Elizabeth, this isn't like you. You need to take control. Why would I want to do that? He needs to pay for what he's done. Elizabeth and I are both in agreement in the fact that you deserve to suffer. We haven't exactly talked about what the punishment should be, but don't worry, we're thinking. Look, I know you're upset, but you need to understand. I was only saying those things to help you. A bitter chuckle passes through my lips. You were trying to help me by making me feel like dirt. I don't think so. I was trying to get you to your full potential. You weren't focused, and it was affecting your performance. You needed an extra push so that you would be able to use your powers. It seems like I might have pushed you a little too hard though. No, I think it was the perfect amount. I've been waiting for a long time to finally be free. Maybe I'll give you a quick and instant death as a sign of my thanks. Suddenly, my hands heat up, and I see fire shoot out of them. I have no idea how I know how to do this or how to control it, but I do. Carter moves away from the tree and starts taking steps backwards. The flames get closer and closer to him, and I watch him run around the area, trying to avoid them. He's going to get tired eventually, but I could do this all day. I start laughing at the different facial expressions he keeps making. He looks so scared. A pang of guilt stabs at my heart, but it goes away a second later. Elizabeth. Stop, snap out of it. I immediately start to relax, and I frown in confusion. How did he do that? The flames go back into my hands and I feel even more disappointed. What did you do to me? All my energy feels like it's been drained from my body. I feel calmer, but I still feel just as powerful. I can influence people's emotions and thoughts. When you weren't improving, I figured that I would have to try a different approach. I would say something to you, and then I would magnify it in your brain, so you would feel angrier about it. Apparently, it worked, but it almost cost me my life, Carter says while slowly taking steps towards me. I glare at him, but he just gives me a sheepish smile. You were playing with my emotions? A few minutes ago, I would have been furious, but now that I'm actually controlling my emotions I realize that I'm actually not that mad. I guess it's just not in my nature to get upset about things. I think back to a few minutes ago and think about how I was acting. I would have never acted like that in normal situations. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, or a bad thing. I don't know how I didn't notice that he was controlling my emotions though. I should have realized something was going on when I started doubting Ryder's feelings about me. A lot of things in my life might change, but I know that's something that will always stay the same. Yes, I'm sorry. You just needed to get angry before you reached your full potential. If you ever do that again, you won't be able to live to tell the story, got it? His Adam's apple bobs up and down as he gulps quietly. He nods his head with a solemn look on his face. I promise. Good, because I wouldn't go easy on you. I try to fight the smile that's making its way across my face, but I can't help it. Once Carter sees my smile, he relaxes and smiles back at me. Wow, I better remember to stay on your good side from now on. I smile slightly before I realize something. Why did you look so scared earlier when my vampire was in control? Well, vampires have really bad tempers and I was worried that you would actually kill me. He shrugs casually, but I know that's not the entire truth. I want the truth. Fine, it's because. Well, are you going to tell me, or are you just going to stare at me? I ask with a raised eyebrow. Carter gives me a sheepish smile before shrugging his shoulders. Sorry, I thought you would forget if I didn't say anything for a few minutes. I give him an incredulous look which makes him laugh. It's so weird hearing him laugh because he's usually so serious. In fact, this is probably the third time I've heard him laugh. You should have seen your face. He manages to say in between laughs. I glare at him, before tapping my foot on the ground. Okay, stop stalling. I want to know already. I pout slightly which makes him laugh harder. I'm glad he finds this so amusing. After a few minutes, he sobers up and I take in a deep breath. This is it, the moment of truth. I don't know if I'm ready for it. We need to figure out what powers you have, and then you need to figure out how to use them. Seriously? That's it? I already knew that. Well, yeah, I thought that was the plan. That's why we've been training and stuff. I say like it's the most obvious thing in the world. He looks taken back by my response before a tiny smirk makes its way onto his face. What's he smirking at? Wow, you've changed a lot over these last few hours. My face scrunches up in confusion. What's that supposed to mean? I'm still the same person that I was a little while ago. I haven't changed at all. I didn't mean it in a bad way. In fact, it's very good. You're a lot more confident now that you are one with your vampire. You're not as timid and shy and now you're actually speaking your mind. I think about what he said, and I realize that he's right. I have changed, but it's clearly for the better. I don't feel so hesitant and afraid anymore. I feel confident in myself. I smile to myself as a surge of happiness goes through me. I've been waiting all my life for this moment, and now that it's here, it seems too good to be true. Yeah, you're right, I have changed a little. Now please tell me what's going on, I demand slightly. The look on his face earlier was that of pure horror, and I know that it has to be bad if he was scared. Ever since the first time I saw him, he was always emotionless, and it looked like nothing fazed him. If he's worried about something, then I know it's a big deal. One of my other abilities is that I can see glimpses of the future. I just get a brief view of the scene, but it's enough for me to know the situation and what I need to do to help. My eyebrows raise at this confession. Is that why you're here helping me? You knew that I was going to get kidnapped. He nods his head. Yes, I did. I've known that was going to happen for years. What do you mean? Sometimes, I see a few minutes into the future, but other times, I can see years into the future. I was only 6 when I had the vision of you being taken. You weren't even born yet. That was the first glimpse of the future that I had ever seen. Ever since that moment, I've devoted myself to doing my best to help others when I see the visions. Do you know the specific day or time of when the events are going to happen? No, I don't get that much information, unfortunately. So does the future change if you end up helping that person? It all depends on the situation. Sometimes I'm not able to help the person in a way that would change their future. For the most part though, something is always changed. That's not always a good thing though. I nod my head in understanding. Alright, now that I have some background, will you tell me what you saw? My need to know what this big secret is grows more and more with each passing moment. Look, I'm not sure that's a good idea. The future is not looking too bright right now, he says with a grimace. What does he mean by that? What's going to happen that's so bad? If it's something really bad, then I should know about it, especially if it affects me. Earlier, you said that I've changed, right? You're right, I did change. I'm a lot stronger now. Physically and mentally. You can tell me, I'll be okay. Fine, I'll tell you even though I don't think it's the best idea. Are you sure you want to know? This is your last chance to back out of this, he says in a warning tone. I nod my head, and look at him with curious eyes. I'm ready to know. He looks pained for a few seconds, and dread starts bubbling up in my stomach, but I just push it down. Sometime in the near future, Ryder and his pack will finally catch up to us and a full-on war will start. Many lives will be lost and it will be documented as the worst fight in werewolf, vampire history. The only person that can end this fight is you. You need to be ready for this battle. He trails off and my heart starts beating violently in my chest. It feels like it's about to burst at any moment. A lot of the people you love and care about, they will be killed. I'm sorry to say this, but your mate and your brother will be killed in order to protect you. I suck a deep breath and I feel tears form in my eyes. It feels like he just punched me in the stomach and knocked all the air out of me. I swallow loudly and force myself to calm down. I can't break down, I need to be strong. How can we stop that from happening? I ask in a shaky voice. Carter gives me a sad smile before shaking his head. The best way would be to train, but honestly, there is a slim chance that this can be avoided. All we can do is hope to lessen the amount of deaths that will happen. I start shaking my head and backing away from him. No, that can't be true. There must be a way to stop this. I won't let this happen. I start shaking violently before I fall to the ground. My mind starts spinning and I feel my eyes closing. I can hear someone yelling at me in the distance, but I can't make out what they're saying before the darkness takes over. I can feel my brain throbbing painfully in my skull, which is what wakes me up from my haunting dreams. Visions of Ryder or Jake lying on a ground with blood pouring out of them kept me from having a decent rest. I couldn't open my eyes though. It felt like I was stuck there in time. Each dream was the same. Someone would go to hit me, but then either Ryder or Jake would jump in front of me, and I watched as their body would fall to the ground, but there was nothing I could do to help them. My feet were planted firmly on the ground. All I could do was scream, but even then that didn't do much. It seemed like no one could hear my screams of terror or my pleas for help. Well, maybe they could hear them, but they just chose to ignore them. I would see Patrick or Zach standing above them with a triumphant smirk. They would walk away and leave Ryder or Jake laying on the ground. Even if they were just nightmares, I feel scared out of my mind. I don't want those bad dreams to turn into reality. I have to protect my loved ones. I slowly open my eyes only to have to shut them again. A bright light shines on my face and I squirm to try and get away from it. Oh good, you're awake. I'm going to need you to open your eyes for me. I peek through my eyelashes and see that a young female is leaned over trying to shine a light in my eyes. I just need to do this for a minute, it won't hurt at all. The second my left eye opens a fraction more, I immediately wince and start blinking to try and clear the black dots from my vision. The flashlight feels like it's burning a hole in my eye. The woman gives me a sympathetic smile. Look hon, I know you're in pain, but the more you cooperate, the faster this can get done. It hurts, I manage to croak out. My voice sounds like it hasn't been used in forever. It feels like my throat is on fire. I slowly open my eyes and she gives me another sympathetic smile. The woman gives me a cup of water, and I gratefully take it. She helps me sit up so I can drink it without choking. I take a few small sips, and I can feel the burning in my throat lessen. When I'm done, I gently push the cup away from my mouth. I don't think I would have been able to put any more force into that action though. My limbs are aching and they feel heavy. I lean back in the bed and groan slightly. I'm in so much pain. I try to stay completely still, so I won't feel as much pain. My body feels like it weighs a ton. It feels like I have an elephant sitting on top of me. My brain starts to feel all hazy again and I shut my eyes to stop the room from spinning. I can hear the woman trying to talk to me, but I can't understand anything she's saying. All of her words get jumbled up in my brain and I'm too tired to try and figure out what she's asking me. When I can finally open my eyes again, I squint while looking around the room for the first time. It's better than all the other rooms I've been put in. I'm laying in a nice warm bed with comfortable sheets. The room doesn't smell terrible and it looks like it's been kept in good condition. I relax slightly before I hear the sound of a door opening and closing. When I see who the person is, I immediately tense up. What are you doing here? I'm surprised my voice comes out as strong as it did. Zach looks shocked for a moment before a stupid smirk forms on his lips. Don't be like that, babe. I don't know why you keep trying to push me away. We both know that you want this as much as I do, he states while moving closer to the bed. I growl while shaking my head. No, we both know that I don't want this. I don't know what part of that is hard for you to understand. I've never been interested in having something with you. In fact, you disgust me. Saying those words to his face and finally getting them off my chest makes me feel light inside. It feels like a burden's been lifted. Unfortunately, I think I've upset him. The smirk on his face drops and a scowl takes its place. What did you just say to me? If I had said this to him before, I would have been scared out of my mind. I would be shaking with fear, and my heart would be pounding against my rib cage. You heard me, I didn't stutter. Now, I don't feel any of that. In fact, I find this situation kind of funny. Zach's face looks comical, and I can barely contain a laugh. His face is a bright red and if this was a cartoon, smoke would be coming out of his ears. You're going to regret saying that, he growls. I give him an unimpressed look before rolling my eyes. Yeah, no, I don't think I will. A cheeky grin settles on my lips. It's really fun getting him angry. I wish I would have done this before. You better stop that right now. Or what? What are you going to do? I'm not worried at all. I know I can defend myself if anything happens. Before he can do anything, the door opens again. Carter walks in through the door and I feel myself relax. Hello, sir. Sorry for interrupting, but Patrick is looking for you, Carter says in a formal voice. Zach growls before nodding his head. He turns and glared at me. I'll be back to teach you a lesson. I just shrug, which causes him to growl and storm out of the room and slam the door behind him. I'm definitely liking the new attitude, Carter says with a genuine smile on his face. I return his smile. Me too. How are you feeling? I think about lying, but then I decide to just tell the truth. I feel like I just died and come back to life as a piece of crap. That's not really a surprise. You kind of went crazy after what I told you. What exactly happened? You caused a mini earthquake, which almost killed both of us, and then there was a tornado that almost killed us. When neither one of those things worked, you decided to have fire fall from the sky. That one was a little harder to escape. You really don't like me, do you? My eyes widen at what he said and I stare at him in shock. You're joking, right? He shakes his head to my amazement and horror. How was I able to cause so much damage without even being aware of it? Nope, this all happened. Do I look like the type of person to make things like that up? His left eyebrow raises and I let out a sigh. I shake my head slowly while biting my bottom lip. Then how am I still alive? How are you still alive? Wouldn't that have been a big giveaway to everyone else? Zach didn't act like he knew anything about that, I question. Well, first off, we're still alive because I happen to be awesome. And Zach didn't say anything because he didn't know. I know he acts like an idiot most of the time, but he's not that stupid. There's no way that he wouldn't have noticed all that stuff happening. Are you sure about that? He is pretty stupid. Anyways, that's not the point. He didn't notice because all that stuff was happening in the space around us. Luckily we weren't too close to the house, so no one got hurt. Carter shakes his head and I let out a breath. That's good. I then remember the doctor and the room I'm in, but Carter beats me to it. I bet you're wondering why there was a doctor in here earlier, he says with an amused look on his face. I nod my head quickly before wincing at the pain. That did not feel good. I was able to get you back to your room before we got caught. When someone went to check up on you this morning, you were burning up. It literally felt like your skin was on fire. Zach called the nurse to make sure that you wouldn't die before he got the chance to kill you. Those were his words, by the way. Aw, that was sweet of him, I say in a sarcastic tone. Carter chuckles slightly before nodding. We sit in silence for a few minutes before he stands up. I should probably get going before someone gets suspicious. I think I'm supposed to be patrolling the area soon, anyways. Have fun with that, I remark with a smirk. He rolls his eyes before leaving the room and leaving me to my thoughts. My mind drifts back to my nightmares and a heavy feeling settles in my heart. When will this be over? For the past few days, my men and I have been following the trail that Chris was able to make with the information he found. I left Chris in the pack so he could watch them, and so he could find out more information about Elizabeth's location. We've been traveling for a long time, but we still haven't found them. The days seem to mix together in a blur. My actions these past days have been robotic. We travel for hours each day, only stopping when it is absolutely necessary. I'm grateful that the men don't complain. They want their Luna back almost as much as I want my mate back. When I ask them to do something, they do it without questions or protesting. All of them have gone above and beyond, and I couldn't be more pleased with them. I'm so thankful for the pack members that I have. I know I've been blessed. I stare at the trees in front of me, lost in thought. I just want this to be over already. I wish there was some way that we would be able to find her. I just need a sign. What if it's too late when I get there? I would never be able to forgive myself. I've already failed her so many times, I can't fail this time. The sound of leaves crunching under someone's foot reaches my ears, but I don't turn around. I already know who it is because of their scent. Alpha, Beta Brian is requesting your presence, Jake says to me. I tense slightly before nodding my head. I wanted him to stay back in the pack, where he would be protected completely, but he wouldn't have that. He wanted to be there to help find his sister, and I understand that completely. If I was in his place, I would be doing the same thing. However, he's not really in the right state of mind right now and I'm worried that he will act on impulse if something happens. He's even worse than me. I know that if something happens to him, Elizabeth will be devastated. I've ordered everyone to keep an eye on him and protect him with their lives. I know he's an excellent fighter, but I don't want to take any chances. Thank you, Jake. I will be there momentarily, I reply while glancing over my shoulder. He bows slightly before walking away. I run a hand through my hair before letting out a frustrated sigh. I push off the tree I was leaning on before I start walking back to our small camp. I see Brian pacing back and forth. I walk up to him with a curious look on my face. Brian rarely gets stressed about something, so I know this is serious. Brian, you wanted to see me? His eyes immediately snap up towards mine before he nods his head quickly. Alpha, come quickly. We must go now, he says before quickly heading off in a random direction. I frown slightly but I follow him anyway. Once he sees I'm following him, he starts to pick up his pace into a jog. Where are we going? I ask as we continue to run through the forest. One of our scouts has said that there are people in a cabin not far from here. The scout saw one of the people, and his description matches what your uncle looks like. My face blanks as I process what he just said. I should have been the first one to know of their location. Why did he tell you and not me? I demand in a hard tone. He tried to mind-link you as soon as he saw, but your walls were up. I don't say anything after that. We continue to run for a few minutes before Brian suddenly stops. I stare at him in confusion, but he just motions me towards a few bushes. We walk towards the thin bushes before crouching down near them. We move some of the smaller pieces to the side so we can see on the other side. The first thing I notice is a small cabin in the middle. I see a few people standing around and talking. They all have arrogant smirks on their face. I roll my eyes as I see some of them arm wrestling. They look pathetic. I move my eyes away from them and look around the rest of the camp. There's nothing really special about it, but it's hidden well. I wouldn't have known it was here if I wasn't looking. I try to sniff the area to see if I can make out any familiar smells, but I can't smell anything other than the disgusting smell coming from the rogues. My nose scrunches up, but I force myself to ignore the smell. I need to focus on what's happening, so I can see if these people are working with Zach. The door to the cabin opens and closes, and I watch as a man and a woman walk outside. I can't see their faces, but Caden starts to get restless. My eyebrows raise and I start to watch the two of them more carefully. The guy throws the woman onto the ground, and Brian and I let out growls. No woman should be treated like that. I know my pack has had rumors spread about how we mistreat women, but none of those things are remotely true. Women, especially if they're your mate, should be treated with respect. The woman stands up while wiping her hands on her old, worn-looking jeans. She turns slightly, and I feel my stomach flip. That's weird, that only happens when I see one person. I squint to try and get a better look at the woman. She turns even more while flipping some of her hair over her shoulder. I squint even more, which doesn't actually help me, before gasping. My heart clenches painfully, and I almost fall to my knees and weep. Elizabeth, we've found them. The urge to walk over to her and wrap her up in my arms is overwhelming. My body feels paralyzed, and I couldn't move from my spot even if I wanted to. Brian lets out a sigh of relief. We found them. He whispers to me. My eyes stayed locked to my gorgeous mate's face and I feel my heart soar. We finally found her. I'll be able to be with her soon. I already start to feel complete again. That gaping hole in my heart slowly closes, and is replaced with relief. More people pour out of the house, and I'm curious as to how many people can fit in there. It doesn't matter though. Brian and I have handled situations more dangerous than this. I'm sure we could go in there and take Elizabeth out. The last person that exits the house has my blood boiling. Zeke, Caden growls. A small smile forms on my lips before it disappears. I see where he's heading, and I start glaring at him, even though he can't see him. I watch as he walks up to her with a confident smirk on his face before talking to her in what looks like a condescending tone. Elizabeth's eyes narrow slightly at whatever he said to her and I strain my ears to try and hear what they're saying. I frown slightly when I realize that they're a little too far away for me to hear them, so all I can make out is the sound of their muffled voices. My eyes narrow when I see Zach put his hand on Elizabeth's wrist. She flinches slightly before glaring at him. Zach continues to talk with his arrogant smirk, but Elizabeth keeps shaking her head and trying to free her wrist. His smirk falters slightly before he grabs her shoulder harshly while shaking her. A deep growl rumbles in my chest as I start seeing red. No one touches my mate like that. I'm about to step forward when an arm stops me. I look at Brian and see that he's watching them intently. He shakes his head slightly and gives me a pointed look. I'm snapped back to reality. If I go out there, I would blow our cover. I know that Brian is about as mad as I am by what's happening, but at least he can still think clearly. All I see is red, and it doesn't help that Caden is trying to claw free to teach Zach a lesson. Brian's back is stiff and one of his fists is clenched while the other is holding onto my shoulder. His eyes are burning fiercely, and he lets out a low growl. How dare he touch my Luna like that? Brian growls. I've never seen him so mad about something. He is usually so calm and collected. My focus is brought back to the scene unfolding before me. I watch as Zach's face turns into one of annoyance and anger. Elizabeth stands her ground, and doesn't seem affected by his harsh glare. I feel my heart swell with pride. She looks so strong and brave. I feel a small tap on my shoulder, and then I see Brian staring at something to the side. I move slightly so I can see it and I exhale raggedly. One of the men in the camp is staring at Brian and me. He starts walking towards the two of us with a confused look and I immediately get ready for a fight. There's no doubt in my mind that I could beat this guy. Before I can do anything, Brian moves in my way. He gives me a serious look. Alpha, we must turn back. I give Brian a cold glare, but he doesn't seem fazed. He seems absolutely determined. What are you talking about? My mate is right there, and she's being abused. I hiss at him. Alpha, please try to focus. Look around you. Do you see how their numbers exceed ours? The two of us would not be able to attack them and survive. We need help. My jaw clenches, but I force myself to listen to what he's saying. I look around and see that he's right. People are walking around, watching every little thing. It's actually a surprise that they haven't spotted us yet. Well, everyone but that guy who is staring at us. He stopped walking and now he's just staring. He looks at us with great interest in his eyes. It's kind of unnerving. I take in a deep breath before exhaling. He's right, we do need help. I look back at Elizabeth and feel my heart break. I'm so close to her, but yet so far. Come on, we need to go, I mumble to Brian through the mind link. He nods his head and we walk back to the camp. I've already mind-linked the pack and our allies about what we saw. They'll be here as soon as possible. I also assigned a few people to watch over Zach and Patrick in case they decided to move locations. I nod my head gratefully. I hadn't even thought of that stuff. Thank you. You've done a great job. I'm proud that I picked you as my beta, I say in a sincere voice. I see pride shine in Brian's eyes before he masks his face. He knows I'm not the type of person to say thank you or give compliments. His chest puffs out slightly, and I can't help but smirk a little. He looks so proud of himself. When we get back to the camp, everyone is sitting around looking tense. I know exactly what they're thinking and feeling. They want to go and get Elizabeth back almost as much as I do. As soon as more people join us, we are going to get my mate, and your Luna, back. My men all nod their heads with determined looks on their faces. I look at the sky. Hang in there, love, just a little longer. I can't believe that stupid little slut keeps rejecting me. Who does she think she is? I am her mate, and her alpha. She will treat me with respect. I can't wait until we get back to my pack so I can show her who's in charge. I would do it now, but I'm not really interested in sharing her at this moment. Maybe after I get my fill of her. A few of my men have already asked me, and I don't see a problem with it. As long as she stays away from Ryder, I don't mind. Our mission today was a success, a familiar voice says to me. I look up with a smirk on my face. I turn around in my chair so I can face him. Of course it worked. I came up with it, I exclaim with an eye roll. Patrick lets out a frustrated sigh before shaking his head. When are we going to attack? Midday tomorrow. By that time, Ryder won't have enough people to help him. I've already called my allies, and they should be here tonight. We'll go over the plan and then attack. I don't know how you managed to lead them straight into a trap. I thought my idea would have worked, Patrick grumbles. I give him a mock sympathetic look. I'm sorry, you just don't have my level of skill when it comes to making plans. I shrug with a grin on my face. Patrick glares at me before standing up. Whatever, I'm leaving now. Just make sure your allies know the plan. I don't want to screw this up. His hand touches the door, but I call him back before he can leave. I hope you realize that Ryder will not be happy when he realizes that you have been helping us. His glare intensifies and I try to contain my chuckle. Making him mad is so much fun. You better watch your back tomorrow, he says before dramatically leaving my room. He even slammed the door close, and I'm pretty sure if his hair was longer, he would have flipped his hair in indignation. Watch my back. He's the one that needs to watch his back. I don't trust him, so I've made some plans of my own. He will die with everyone tomorrow. I don't like how he's been looking at my mate. I swirl my chair around and put my hands behind my hair. Life is really good. I finally have my mate back, and I can kill the person who tried to steal her from me. Ryder won't even know what hit him. He walked right into my carefully laid out trap. He has no allies over here, but I happen to have more than enough. I have people who have owed me favors, so now they are my allies. Also, my pack is about an hour away by car. They'll be here in no time. I can't wait to see the look on Ryder's face when I attack him and his men. My dreams are finally going to be realized. People will show me the respect I deserve. I smile before standing and stretching. I go over to the window to get a look at the night sky. I look around before seeing something that catches my eye. I see two figures moving carefully, and I immediately become suspicious. No one should be awake at this time. I decide to do some investigation and see what's going on with those people. I casually stroll out of my room before walking down the steps. I walk out of the front door before heading in the direction I saw the people go in. This should be interesting. I lay on my bed waiting for Carter to come get me so we can train. I rub my eyes tiredly and let out a yawn. I stare up at the ceiling in my room with my hands behind my head. Well, this is really boring, a voice in my head states. I almost jump out of my skin in shock.